Welcome, everyone. This is Recovery Dharma. My name is Julia. I'm one of the facilitators in the Spokane Sangha, and I'm so happy to be here this evening. This is the little card that I painted, and this is the little sentiment of metta on the back that I wrote. This one reads, "May I fearlessly advocate for those who suffer. May I fearlessly advocate for those who suffer." And friends, let's not forget to exclude ourselves in that group. And let's take this moment to turn inward. We are finishing up the month of June, where we have explored the cultivation of wise intentions as part of the Noble Eightfold Path. And not only have we looked into this, we've reimagined its language. And wise intentions is great. I know the word wise, I know the word intentions, and yet I don't, in my own life's experience, I often struggle when I've had good intentions and yet the outcome has gone awry. Or when I've been on the receiving end of someone's intentions that aren't clear and the connection is sour or negative. What to do, how to apply wisdom, how to understand intention. And so many years ago, I started to explore, what does this really mean for me? And I decided to bring forward new language. And for me, the cultivation of wise intention is all about my capacity to be spacious. And I don't know about you, but whenever I work with intention, and if its intention's gone awry, I have the propensity to get really clamped down and tight. Well, I didn't mean it that way, or I know they didn't mean it that way, so I don't really need to say anything because they're a good person and they're suffering and they're hurting, and I can just take this on. And I clamp down and I avoid. And really, what I'm doing is I'm sabotaging my sincerity and I'm betraying my authenticity. And that may sound inflated, it isn't. That is the reflection of wisdom coming forward. Because to be wise is to be daring, to take risks, to have courage. And so we've had this extraordinary month looking at wise intentions and cultivating space so we can see our intentions and the intentions of others from multiple points of view as we get really supple about it. Next month, we're going to look at the next aspect of the Noble Eightfold Path, which is wise action. And we're going to do that by looking at all the ways we can be real and all the ways we can be false. So good. But today, let's come back to intentions. And what I'd like to focus on is being on the receiving end of someone's intention. And I'd like to hone in a little bit more. I'd like to narrow the view a little bit more. And I'd like to bring forward the intention of care. and somebody is expressing an intention to be caring. And when I am standing before that intention, the reality for me is this: sometimes I can receive it, and sometimes I can't. It's as simple as that. And no matter what's happening, whether I can receive someone's care or whether I can't receive someone's care, there are conditions defining that. And that's the practice. Rather than react one way or the other, can I take a moment to pause? Can I take a step back, create some space, and just look, just explore? Why is this so easy to receive this person's care? Why is this person offering care and thoughtfulness and I want to barf? What's up with that? Can I be curious? You know, different people are different things to us. We are different things to different people, right? So think about a situation in your own life where somebody expressed care, somebody expressed concern, and you received it. You were like, okay, I hear you. I can take that in. Think about that same care and how, nope, I don't want that from you. What's really alive in me, in particularly because we're talking about the journey of recovery, is how many times have you encountered someone who has said, you know, I'm worried about you. I think you might have a problem with alcohol or drugs or whatever it is. And I'm concerned. I care about you. The journey of recovery is filled with people who reject that kind of care. And the journey of recovery is filled with people who accept that care. What are the conditions propelling either one? That's the curious question. That's the inquiry. So, for this evening, we're going to just have a quiet, reflective practice. And what I'd like you to do, and what I would encourage you to do, is find a posture in the body that feels great ease. You may be seated, you may be lying down, you may be moving, but just take a moment or two, get in touch with the body, and see if you can breathe some gentle awareness into it, relaxing the muscles, maybe moving some of the joints, and then finding a little stillness once in a while. And every once in a while, bring your full attention to your breath. And in this practice, I'd like you to do something quite deliberate with me. To prepare the body to receive the care of breath, bring your attention to your belly. And see if you can just play with the muscles in your abdomen, tighten them up, clamp down, and then watch them relax. Don't worry about the breath yet. Just play with the belly. And when you find that posture of relaxation, that's when you inhale. and allow the belly to expand. Allow the air to really fill the belly and then ascend and fill the lungs. Feel your rib cage expand ever so slightly. The air is entering at the level of the nostrils. Maybe you bring your attention there for a moment and feel your little nose hairs tickled by the air. Maybe you sense a temperature. Bring the tongue in your mouth to the roof of your mouth, just behind your teeth. Relax your face. And when it comes time to exhale, see if you can allow the air to deliberately leave the body in a descending way. So the attention is the upper quadrants of the lungs, down to the middle, down to the bottom, all the way down to the diaphragm and belly until you bring the belly in. You really start to engage those muscles and you squeeze out all of that air and you hold the breath for just a moment. This is a soft but engaged practice, and you can do it in any posture. And then when you go to inhale, relax the belly again. Allow it to expand. Inhale slowly enough to sense the air entering the lungs, filling completely. Attention at the nose, attention at the roof of your mouth. Pause a moment. And exhale through the nostrils, descending the contraction and the exhalation, bringing those belly muscles in to squeeze that last bit of air out. All the while, you're breathing in this very deliberate manner. And you're doing so as a way of anchoring the mind. Because the mind, I do kind of want it to wander a little bit. I'd like you to playfully and joyfully entertain intentions, receiving, not receiving someone's care. But you may find yourself going off into some kind of story, some kind of memory. And if that happens, it's no big deal. You can come right back to the breath and re anchor the practice. And if you have to do it 100 times, that's your beautiful practice. And if you never have to do it because you're so skilled, that's great. That's your practice. And may you sense the intention and the motivation here this evening to enjoy this practice. friends. I began the month of June with one of my favorite spiritual stories called The Monkey and the Fish. And I'd like to end my time offering this practice. Josh will be here tomorrow night, but with the same story because it's such an impeccable reminder of how good intentions, if left undiscerned, can create really messy actions. And what humbles me deeply is how all these hundreds and hundreds of years ago, the Buddha knew this. And this was his first teaching, the Four Noble Truths and the Noble Eightfold Path. And it's my belief that he kept this pathway, these signposts, these guides, really big and really broad. Wise intentions is an enormous topic. And we are all, each of us, invited to explore how it comes alive using our own lives as the instrument to experiment with truth, as Thich Nhat Hanh likes to say. So the story of the monkey and the fish goes like this. So one day there's a teacher with all of her students and she was teaching about cultivating wise intentions. And one of the students is like, yo, hey, but I know my intentions are good. Isn't having good intentions good enough? Like, what else is there to do? And she said, there's always more to do. I mean, having good intentions is a place to start, but look deeper, get curious. And then she mentioned the monkey, this monkey in the forest. And it was doing what monkeys do, jumping from limb to limb in the trees. And it was looking down at the river, beautiful flowing freshwater river. And there it saw a little fish swimming along. And so the monkey, with the world's best intentions, reached down and grabbed this fish to save it from its watery grave. All righty, friends. And with that, let's go ahead and end our practice today with a dedication of merit. You know, one of the things that I find really interesting about and fascinating really about the intention to recover is so much of what motivates a person to seek recovery is pretty self-oriented, as it should be. You know, the misuse of drugs and alcohol has really created destruction in the mind, in the body, in the relationships. And so it's really important for somebody to really focus on themselves and get their shit together and do better and all the things. But what we don't talk about often is, by extension, all of that efforting. Oh, that's me. My phone's going off. God, 10 years just doesn't happen often. Huh? Yeah, Christopher's like, I haven't seen that one. I was waiting for somebody to call me back about a mower. Anyway, the whole point is that we fail to recognize, sometimes we fail to recognize that even though the intention may be self-absorbed, I'm trying to heal myself, I'm trying to take care of myself, I'm trying to understand my relationship to negative habit energy. By extension, that ripples out and can positively affect others in really subtle, quiet ways. And that's really a way to broaden the intention. When I heal myself, I, by extension, heal others. So for today's dedication, I'd just like to chant 3 times that beautiful chant of may you be happy and peaceful. And if you know this, you can chant right along with me. In fact, I think we'll change it up and we'll start with I. Then we'll use you pronoun, and then we'll together bring it together into we. Taking a deep breath. May I be happy and peaceful. May I be healthy and strong. May I be safe and protected. May I live with ease. May you be happy and peaceful. May you be healthy and strong. May you be safe and protected. May you live with ease. May we be happy and peaceful. May we be healthy and strong. May we be safe and protected. May we live with ease. So good. Thank you so much for your practice, friends. We'll see you next time. Namaste.